talking about
The birds.
the birds
The
of
birds.
prey.
Oh yeah, the Birds of Prey thing.
Yeah, so basically, the new Harley Quinn movie, which is not just Harley Quinn, but it's like an ensemble film. It opened to a really rough opening financially, worst in DCEU history.
And it was projected to do good.
Yes, for a number of reasons. The popularity and notoriety of the character of Harley Quinn, because she's like probably the most famous female DC Comics character. Interestingly enough, she was not in the comics originally. She was created in the Batman show that came out when we were kids.
Huh.
Batman the Animated
Oh,
Series.
I didn't know that.
But the film opened with terrible numbers. And the name for the movie was crazy. It was like Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of something Harley Quinn or something like that.
Right.
So Warner Brothers decided, basically mid-release, the week after it released, to change the theatric title. Apparently the film title is still the same. It's going to remain the same. It's still that long one. But they changed the name to, was it Harley Quinn?
Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey,
Yeah.
I believe it was.
And they, under the assumption that the name was part of the reason
Yes.
that people weren't watching it.
Yeah.
Right. I think it was probably honestly just a hopeful shift that they were thinking maybe if we put Harley Quinn's name more featured, that more people would recognize it. It's also, they were saying it could be for like SEO purposes as well.
Mm.
It's much more searchable.
Why
of a title.
do you think they didn't?
Why
do you think it didn't do well?
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Do you want to?
So let me.
Eh.
You guys know that I don't really follow like
Comic book movies.
movies in general, but like, so the other day I was thinking, me and my wife had a sitter. It was her birthday. I'm like, let's go to the movies. And like, I was going through the list, and however I was looking at it online, there was no like movie poster or image to go with the title.
Sure.
And I had not seen this article or anything. I have no clue about anything that's happening in the world for the most part. And I'm going down and I'm reading these movies and I'm like recognizing nothing. And I saw Birds of Prey and had no clue, no point of reference at all. Whereas some of the other ones, there was something in the title that, whatever. For some reason, when I saw Birds of Prey, I pictured like
Eagles
Tom
and
Cruise and like, you know what I'm saying? Like some sort of like movie about men fighting one another. I don't know. Like that was like
Sure.
the image in my head.
Right.
For people that don't know, and I don't think you really have to be like a heavy comics reader to know, but Birds of Prey is like a team up of female superheroes and anti-heroes. Like a couple, and the team has varied, but it's like, it's a comic series as far as I know, but it's also just like, it's shown up in other medias, and they were trying to capitalize on, I guess, the popularity of the character of Harley Quinn, the success to a degree of the Suicide Squad movie, but also, I guess, in a way, pull themselves further away or separate themselves further from some of the things that probably didn't work with people's feedback in the Suicide Squad movie.
So the changing of the name, I guess you would consider that, to me, two things: a marketing mistake, yes, and a branding mistake. Because what you just said is they're trying to capitalize on the popularity of, is it Harvey?
Harley.
I literally don't know. So
it's an all-female.
So you're trying to capitalize on that character, but when I was going through the list, it literally just said Birds of Prey. It didn't say colon blah 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 all the other stuff.
Oh, you're saying the way they changed it was a mistake.
No. The original. The fact that all I
Oh,
saw
the original
was
was
Birds
the
of Prey.
mistake.
So you're trying to capitalize on this character,
Right.
but
I wouldn't say it was necessarily a mistake. I think possibly what the people at Warner Brothers were thinking, they were maybe thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy. So if you're not super aware, Guardians of the Galaxy are like a very popular
which I have seen the first
movie
one.
franchise now.
It's great.
It's
like,
really good.
You know, it's got a great cast, great writing. They're very enjoyable comic book films. But the actual team of Guardians of the Galaxy is like B, C level superheroes.
Right.
Nobody knew Guardians of the Galaxy before the movies came out.
When the changing of the name, then you don't think they were like, well, we screwed up in the SEO department. People aren't finding this movie when they type her name in. Obviously, they feel like her name is important and her brand and her character is important. But yet, when people were searching movies, it was missing. So now they've added it. So do you think their focus now is not, well, it could have been a better launch and we screwed up? You don't think it's as much that as, well, it's not doing good, so let's try to do something to make it better?
I think it wasn't a lot of foresight.
Which is an issue with the DC universe.
Because
Sure,
in
yeah.
my,
You know?
with me, that would have been a mistake I made. That's how the way that I see it. I would have been like, crap. Like we tried to do something cool, and we failed.
I think part of the problem was when they were like putting trailers out and all these different teasers and stuff, they were relying heavily on the fact that Harley Quinn was in the film, but then the title almost in a way makes her secondary. So they were,
Which
like,
maybe they were trying to accomplish.
but maybe it feels like to me it's a little bit of a mixture of messages in their marketing, like Harley Quinn,
So do you
but
think
her name's all the
do
way
you
at the end of
think
the title.
Do you think it was an oversight, or do you think it was a branding and marketing mistake? As in, they were like, okay, we're going to try to make it about Birds of Prey, right? Or was it, here's a cool name that's not Harley Quinn? You know what I'm saying?
I personally, I think it's almost like a desperate attempt at doing something just because people just generally aren't interested in the movie. And I could be wrong, but I mean,
So
how many movies do you go to see based off an internet search? You
That's
go see a
true.
movie because you see the trailer and you think
Well,
it's great.
I think as far as the internet searching and the SEO goes, would be more so like, oh, I heard of a movie with this character in it, and then they're searching, but it's harder to find
So
because
let me
of the
ask you
title.
this.
See, but I don't
Are
think it would
people
be.
talking about it as like that new Harley Quinn movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Anytime I've heard
So let
it.
me tell you this. If I saw the name Harley Quinn,
You still wouldn't know what it was.
No. I think I would have known that that's related to superhero. I think I would have. Because I mean, I know enough to say that I'm pretty sure that I would understand that, especially after the Suicide Squad movie. Right, she was in there, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, you might have mentioned that already.
I did.
But like, so see, I could draw that connection. I think I could have like connected the dots from the name. But when I saw Birds of Prey, absolute, I had nowhere to go with that. That was a brand new concept. That was an unknown thing to me. I'm just like, must just be something nobody cares about, and keep going.
Yeah.
Whereas if it would have been the new title that they're now using, which is what?
Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey is a subtitle.
Then at least I would have had some sort of context to go, oh, I think that's related to superhero stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I just feel like with the comic book movies, people that are into them and people that are like them, I just feel like, even though like marketing, I'm not gonna act like marketing isn't important, but you go to see those movies, you're not really looking at the title.
So this is what makes me think though that it was a mess up, like a branding or marketing mess up, because the movie in that article said it actually had some hype around it and very good reviews, and people were excited about it and they thought it was going to perform well. And then when it came out, so I'm wondering if that's why they got in a room after the first week and they're like, whoa, what just happened? And somebody was
Maybe.
like, look, when you look it up, all it says is Birds of Prey. People don't
Oh yeah,
know
true.
what
I can
that
see
is.
that being.
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
Yeah, I can
so
see that.
since it, and I wish one of us would have seen it to say like, no, it was actually really good.
I don't
So
want to.
because most of the time that's how the box office stuff
I'll
works
catch it on
anyway.
DVD.
is
Netflix.
and they refer to that when they talk about box office statistics. It's like
Right.
that first week, and then by the performance of the second week, you really know how the audience feels about it because they're going to their friends, going, "Yo, you gotta see that movie."
But I haven't been getting that. That's my thing.
About this movie?
Yeah, at all.
But you did about the Joker,
Yes. Everybody was like, you need to go see this. The
right?
hype.
And guess what? The last movie I saw in the theaters was.
Joker. But that's if the movie was good, like even if
wouldn't
it's a
matter.
marketing mistake, I don't think it would matter because I feel like people would get online and be like, "This movie's awesome," and then somebody else goes and sees it and says the same
I
thing.
haven't seen anybody posting about it, so maybe it's just not good, or maybe nobody knows about it. I guess that's where we're stuck.
That's just my
Well,
theory.
I would say, based simply on the numbers, that not as many people have seen it, where we haven't reached that critical mass of numbers of people talking about it. So you would have been more likely to see it, if that makes sense. I think the mistake was not calling it Harley Quinn Birds of Prey from the beginning, but not leaning more heavily into the fact that it's a team.
Let me ask you this: what's that movie that came on Netflix? Why did Bird Box do so well?
Because everybody started talking about it.
Nobody was searching anything. Nobody was you know what
It
I'm
also
saying?
became a meme, so that's another reason why it did well.
Right. So I feel like the marketing aspect of it, there has to be an excitement created for the movie, and there just wasn't. I saw the trailer in the theaters, and I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, the Harley Quinn movie, because I did enjoy Suicide Squad. I thought that was one of the better movies in the DC universe, along with Wonder Woman, and I like Aquaman too. But yeah, I just it didn't do anything for me.
So
I was like,
this is cool. What this
I'll wait.
this article says. I was trying to see if I could find an article about
ouch.
what if they have changed it, what's happened since, but I don't think we have those metrics yet. But somebody said, for fans who care about Harley but aren't knowledgeable about comic book lore, Birds of Prey is a slight red herring. It sounds more like a gritty prestige drama, which is kind of what I saw, or a particularly vicious David Attenborough documentary. So like, yeah, that's what my head went to, is like one of those things.
It's
Like
a Planet Earth movie.
And I just feel like that's just, in a sense, that's
National
kind of,
Geographic.
it's bad branding in a sense.
That's
Because
why I think they
people
should have
don't
leaned in.
know what it is at all.
They didn't-
And I'm telling you, before I read this article, I experienced it. I was like, Birds of Prey, next. I have no context for that.
I think what the fault of the teams behind marketing it was not educating the consumer enough on what Birds of Prey is, because
Ahead of time.
I think Birds of Prey could have been a
that's
good
it.
title for it.
Nailed it.
You're welcome.
You did it.
All right, we're done here.
See you guys.
Good night.
No, it's true. That's a very good
Yeah.
point. Like they probably could have, almost like the Avengers movies were kind of set up. Each movie had these little elements, which people are more familiar with the Avengers than Birds of Prey, so it may not be a fair comparison. But they almost had to educate the audience, maybe, or the people who weren't really fans of the universe, to say, hey, this is what's coming, and these are the people who are involved. And it kind of reminds me of all of the hype that was around like Split.
Such a good movie.
You remember all the hype that was around that? And it's like, here's a continuation of this story, and there's an older movie, and it's going somewhere. But it's like, there was so much ahead of time that you had time to learn what was about to happen with that movie and how you should relate it to different areas. Like, I wonder if you've seen Suicide. Is this technically a sequel to Suicide Squad, or like?
I think it's just another movie.
So have you seen Suicide Squad?
I have not.
Have you?
Oh, you didn't?
Have you?
Yeah.
Was there? Were you aware of what Birds of Prey was after you watched that movie?
No.
So
I
that's
wasn't
kind of
aware
back.
until you explained
That's
it.
kind of like back to your point. Maybe they should have had some foresight to kind of set this up, like a moment in the movie that was like.
My guess is that. Now I know that Suicide Squad to a degree was a mixed bag of review and feedback. But
I heard so much about it.
Yeah.
But I think that what they were probably doing was trying to maybe bank on some of that success of the introduction of these characters in Suicide Squad after the fact.
Right.
Like perhaps, and this is just my guess, just based on like the big debacle of like them trying to catch up to Marvel and making the Justice League movie and how that didn't work out. But the idea that they probably weren't thinking ahead of time enough to make that movie.
Right.
So there probably was no connection there.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Is like they probably could have done a better job of educating me,
sure,
and you on what Birds of Prey was. But I think that the name change is probably a good idea. It's based off my experience from searching movies. So, and what's really, if you're going to say educating the public, that's a mixture of branding and marketing.
Well, in this case, it would be 100% of that.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing to build a story off of, or backstory. Like, watching El Camino would have made no sense if Breaking Bad didn't exist. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true.
So.
Well, Kenny's got to go.
Bye, guys. Night-night.
Night-night. Oh, gosh. And then I said it.
You said it right after.
All right, see ya. Thanks for watching. We forgot about you for a second out there.
Thank you, world.
Thank you, Harley Quinn. Harvey Quinn.